Good afternoon, Professor Hans Leisen, and thank you so much, sir, for granting us the opportunity again, sir, to interview sir in SIEM REAP province. And last time we interviewed you at a tower of Angkor Wat temple, which is under the restoration, you know, the scaffolding, the stairs. And now we have another great opportunity to interview sir at your, let's say, office here in the middle of the city of Angkor, or maybe the city of SIEM REAP, sir. I have a lot of questions today, actually, and I also, you know, posed a number of questions before. So today I wanted to, you know, continue, you know, my curiosity about your work, not only at Angkor, but upon, you know, a number of searches that I have done on the internet. You also worked in Egypt. You also work in Indonesia, I think the Borobudur temple, and also Ayutthaya city of Thailand, sir, and also masonry in Germany, sir. So can you tell us a bit, you know, the journey that you have spent in each country, sir, and do they interlink, in, you know, in some way to your accumulation of knowledge, sir?
Actually, first of all, thank you for coming again and for your interest in our projects and our work. I'm very happy about this. Yeah, actually, of course, I was teaching at university for a long time, had a lot of students there. And of course, at university, it's very important to increase knowledge by research, etc. And of course, in our case, it must be always somewhere outside on the monuments, and especially in Cologne we have the famous Cologne Cathedral, and which is very, very specific concerning the problems. Of course, the construction is totally different from the Angkor temples, while the Angkor temples are more flat, even when the Angkor Wat is quite high. Yeah? But Cologne Cathedral is a huge building and has huge towers up to 159 meters, etc. And the specific problem at Cologne Cathedral is it's built during its whole history, built with about, let's say, 45 to 50 different stone materials. One thing, the construction, but also inside the sculpture, the altar piece, graves, etc., which are distributed in the cathedral. They are from different materials and all required different treatment, and they behave in a different way. So this was a wonderful place where we worked with our students very often. And for the students, of course, they could increase their knowledge a lot about these different materials. We have been working also on cemeteries, which is also interesting, because cemeteries normally have, during the ages, different fashions of stone and different styles, etc. So also there we have the different problems on the stone weathering, different approaches in conservation, etc. But of course, sometimes it's also interesting to go abroad. And we have been also working in a Greek city in Turkey. We have been working on two places in Egypt. One was in central Egypt, and it's called Ptolemaic. It's a time span in a Ptolemaic destroyed temple, limestone mainly, but also with bas-reliefs, hieroglyphs, and polychrome decorated. And of course, this is a very specific challenge. We have very big problems concerning the stability of the stone. We had a lot of problems with damaging salts there as well. And of course, the superficial polychrome layers, they are highly endangered when you have salt problems, etc. and climatic changes, strong climatic changes. One of the most challenging places for us was totally in southwest Egypt, in the desert,
Yes.
It's called Vadisura, which means the Wadi, the valley of pictures. And there in the 1930s, a Hungarian discovered paintings in the middle of the desert.
Paintings?
Paintings, rock art.
Rock art.
Rock art. We have a lot of rock art in the Sahara Desert, yeah, but there it's really very, very dry desert. And in the 1990s, an Italian tourist and his son discovered another place, which is most probably one of the richest rock art sites in whole Africa. It's a shelter with 6,000 to 8,000 figures, animals, people, different shape, etc. So, and this in the middle of a very dry desert. This means at that time when they were painted, let's say 8,000, 9,000 years ago, there was a savanna. So people could live there. There was a lake close to this shelter. And for us, of course, it was challenging. First of all, we had to go from the last oasis, 4 days off-road with trucks to reach this place. We were sleeping under the sky in the desert. Of course, during the day it's hot. We had sandstorms. And of course, the rock art research and conservation is very, very sophisticated because you have to deal with paintings on the bulk rock, yeah, and on the bedrock. And of course, there are different challenges, like if you work on monuments, yeah, which are man-made, yeah.
So
okay.
They were prehistoric, sir? You mean
prehistoric?
Prehistoric.
Yeah, let's say around 10,000 years old. Yeah.
Oh, and your job was to preserve what is on the wall.
First of all, our approach, researching what is the materials used, what are the painting techniques, how did they paint it, etc. Of course, we always, in all worldwide rock art sites, we have hand stencils. But if they are painted figures, animals, giraffes, gazelles, other birds, big birds, etc. And people, and in this one we had a sort of a monster which is not explained yet what this monster means. So this is of course the first challenge, and then we did a lot of climatic measurements, pigment analysis, etc. And then the question how we can consolidate these paintings. Yeah, actually at the end we did test areas outside the site, not on the paintings, but then there was the political changes, where Egypt, Libya, etc., and then it was closed. Nobody could go there since that time anymore. So we don't know what happened now to the paintings. Yeah, but very, very interesting and challenging, and of course, sleeping under the sky with stars you never can see here. Yeah, because it's much clearer, no clouds, etc.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a similar project we had in East Timor.
Oh, East Timor,
in
Indonesia,
the
sir.
far east of East Timor, there are also prehistoric rock art sites, which are most probably older than the ones in the Sahara Desert. Yeah, there we did also some research with the colleagues from a university in Dili, which was also very interesting. We did also 3D scanning of one is a huge cave, others are just shelters in the mountains. Also very, very interesting. And of course, our part is always to do the, let's say, scientific approach to the rock art itself, not the interpretation, but the materials used, the condition of the rock art, etc. While the others, the archaeology, look after the meaning of the pictures, etc., and do excavation for the dating, etc. Yeah, you mentioned Ayutthaya.
Ayutthaya, yes.
Yeah, I have to say more or less all these projects, or most of the projects, are funded by our German government, by the Cultural Preservation Program, which is also funding our project in Angkor since 1997. So
Yes, sir.
3 years, we have 30 years Angkor project. And this was after, you might remember, maybe in 2011, there were big floods in Siem Reap, but also in Thailand. Yeah, big parts of northern Bangkok was flooded. Ayutthaya, the capital, the kings of Ayutthaya, which built a lot of temples in 14th, 15th century, 16th century. This city of Ayutthaya was totally flooded for weeks or months nearly, yeah. And there was the request from the Thai government to the German government as well, like to other governments. We met colleagues from Japan, from WMF, US, from, in this case, from the Netherlands, because the Netherlands are famous for the dams, building dams against the sea. And we started there in 2012 with a project at one temple which is called Wat Ratchaporana. And there was a certain coincidence as well. You asked for the impact of one project to the other. Here we started with the projects conserving the stucco at the brick towers at that time. And in Wat Ratchaporana, there's the big prang, this covered with stucco, and mainly there we have close to the floor, we have huge guardian figures, also brick construction, but covered with stucco. Yes, so we developed the program, and like in most of the project, the first aim is to train people, to educate people in conserving monuments with different materials. And so we had two projects also with students in Pakong at that time and in Ayutthaya. And so we increased the knowledge about the stuccos and what to do, which methodology we can use with methods to preserve it. And since that time we are working in Pakong, which is now finished, the stucco, and moved to Preako now. Yeah. And in Ayutthaya, the trained team, or the team we trained, is now working on other temples, in this case with the World Monument Funds in Ayutthaya and Wat Chai Watanaram. Yeah, so this is very nice. One project I want to mention, which is very sad, we started in, let's say, 2017, in Bagan in Myanmar.
Oh, yes, sir. Because of the issue in the country.
Now, at that time, 2016, there was a big earthquake. Oh. You know, the whole Myanmar lies in a seismic zone.
Yes, sir.
And there's a huge fault running through or close to Bagan, and in this huge tectonic structures, there is always movement, and so very often they have big damages on the temples in Bagan. So the Myanmar government asked the German government again, like other countries, we met colleagues we know from Cambodia, also from Japan, we met in Bagan as well, etc. And we thought we are working, most of the temples are brick temples with stucco decoration. Yes. And inside wall paintings. So one colleague of us from Germany was working on a temple with wall paintings, and we thought we are doing the conservation of stucco, train people again. Yeah, there were young staff of the Bagan Conservation Office, but we were requested to do one of the few sandstone structures in Bagan. So we selected a smaller temple and started with the preparation of the whole project, training step by step in this whole process, also the team. But finally, you know, then there was the pandemic in 2000. Yes. We had to leave the country at that time. and then we couldn't return because we had the military coup d'etat in 2021. So
that project was left uncontinued until today.
Everything was prepared. We brought all the machines for preparing materials. We have all the conservation materials for the whole temple in Bagan, but we don't know what's happening. Yeah. This is very sad. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And another temple that I am also interested is Borobudur, sir. I mean, it's also a very big temple in Indonesia and also a very iconic symbol, you know, in Southeast Asia, sir. So what did you do at Borobudur, sir?
Actually, it's one of the most interesting and beautiful heritage or monuments, religious monuments we know. Yeah. For us, it was a big honor that we were asked if we could go there. This was again after in 2050 there was a big volcanic eruption. Close to Borobudur we have several volcanoes, and the whole Indonesia lies on the seismic zone, the Pacific seismic zone. So very often there are earthquakes and volcanic eruption, and one of the most active volcanoes in the world is Merapi, which is, you can see it from Borobudur. So, and this was a huge eruption, and the whole Borobudur was covered with ashes from the volcanic eruption, and the staff there, they had a well-trained young team already. They did already some analysis, and they cleaned very quickly. But nevertheless, it was the question if there's a negative influence of the ashes on the temple. And so we were first asked to do a sort of a survey first, but then we extended. We asked the German government if they can give more money, several years, and we trained also the staff with modern research techniques and did a lot of investigations together with them. I don't know if you know, there was a huge intervention at the beginning of the 20th century by Van Erp. It was Dutch. Yeah, he dismantled the upper part, the upper terraces of the Borobudur and stabilized, etc. There were leaning walls, etc. And on top we have these wonderful bell-shaped
where they put the statue inside
stupas, with a sitting Buddha inside. Many were destroyed, etc. So he rebuilt. And then in the 70s there was a big UNESCO guided intervention for the lower parts, where we have on the steps, on the walls, the famous bas-reliefs of the life of Buddha, and also the galleries outside, again with many small chapels with sitting Buddhas inside. And but nevertheless, they did a static stabilization at that time. They tried to control the water runoff of the temple, but nevertheless, still a lot of water was coming out of the walls. So there was water seepage, increasing in the temple, etc. And so we focused on some specific tasks due to this water transport through the volcanic stone. In this case, it's a sort of andesitic to basaltic rock from the volcanoes. There was dilution of specific minerals, and on the top we have sort of crusts, whitish crusts, which step by step can destroy the bas-reliefs. Yeah. The other point was that still there was water seepage. Yeah. So we brought colleagues, experts with specific small cameras which can go into the channels and everywhere to control the condition of the channels, etc. And we had another question to deal with. In many museums in the world, you find heads of the Buddhas of Borobudur and other Buddhist temples in Indonesia. And there are many in these chapels, Buddha sculpture without head. But in the office or in the depot of the Borobudur Conservation Office, they had around, I think, some 50 heads. And is the question, they always want to bring them back to the original position, to the original sculpture. Yes, but it's very difficult to decide which head belongs to the body. So we did a lot of investigations. The main problem was when they found the heads, they cut the neck underneath. Yes, it's smooth, that they could put it on a desk or on the table. So normally you should have a breakage at the head side and the neck below and on the body. So you could do a cast of both and then check from the head where it fits at the temple, at the bodies. But this is not possible. So we had to do investigation on the different varieties of the andesitic rock, etc. Wow. Actually, we couldn't also finish this task, but the Borobudur team is able now to continue this work, and most probably they found solutions for this.
Yes, sir. But just a simple question from me. So the heads are not identical, sir. You mean the facial expression of each Buddha statue is different?
Each Buddha statue is different. It's different variety of the rocks, etc. Yeah?
So you cannot just put the head to any body.
No, it's not possible. Yeah.
Okay. So
also the neck, the size of the necks are different. So you have to find the right dimension. Yeah. But as the neck below is smooth, yes, this is another challenge, of course. But nevertheless, this has to fit properly, yeah. And the color of the body and the color of the head, the let's say the texture of the stone, everything has to fit to it. So we did, for example, magnetic stability, which is different in different varieties of the rocks. We did ultrasonic testing. The different varieties have a different ultrasonic velocity, and we did water absorption measurements, and all these parameters we tried to fit into a system. Yeah.
Oh my God!
It's a puzzle, like a puzzle. Yeah.
It's a very surgical procedure.
Yeah. But challenging and very, very interesting, and we liked it very much to be there as well. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So all of this you have done in the past 40 years, 50 years, something like that, sir?
Actually, I'm in the field since 1985. I started 1985, with the preservation or with what we call conservation science.
So 40 years.
Yeah, 40 years. 40 years.